Hey, YouTube folks, welcome to another video on this channel. And in today's video, I'm already letting you know. Get your hearts ready for one of the most complex and messy matches I've ever seen in my life. This match here is really a fight, which is what Cadres is, a fight. This match was played between our genius Mequinho and Shirov. No one more, no one less. And this match took place at the Floripa Open in 2017, where these legends faced each other in the 7th round of the tournament. Both were undefeated up to this point in this fantastic match. And I'll say right away, hold onto your seat so you don't fall, and let's get to this great chess match now. So, folks, here we are, and with the white pieces, it was him, Henrique, Mecking versus Shirov. And Mecking starts the game here with knight to f3 developing. d5 played by Shirov, g3. Mecking already wants to fianchetto, and Shirov does the same thing. He plays with g6, the game continues with bishop to g2, bishop to g7, and d5, gaining a bit of space in the center. It makes perfect sense. Knight to f6 was played by Shirov. And now castle and castle, both move 2 pieces in a single move. It makes perfect sense, Delworth. Knight to c4 here was played, gaining space in the center, c6 defending. The game continues, c takes d5, then Mequinho plays knight to c3. Shirov is already seeking exchanges, moving his knight to e4. Proposing exchanges, Mequinho refuses, not wanting to exchange anything. He plays here with queen b3 now, bringing an attack to the d5 square. Shirov is already using tactics. He's a very tactical and dynamic player who doesn't defend. The d5 pawn he plays with the knight to c6 here. Shirov is offering a pawn. Be careful, he rarely loses pawns in the opening. Mequinho didn't take it. It's highly poisonous. If you take it, you'll even lose a piece. So, what would happen if he took it? That's not what happened in the game, okay? If the queen takes d5, Shirov plans, knight takes c3. Now the queen is undefended since the knight captured her defender. You'd play queen takes d8, then knight takes e2 with check. King to h1 and rook takes d8. Count the pieces on the board. Mequinho would lose one here, so he didn't choose this line. He clearly saw that. So, after Shirov's sneaky knight to c6 attacking the d4 pawn, Mequinho plays bishop to e3 here, bringing a defense to the pawn. The game continues with knight to a5, and again, Shirov offers the pawn on d5. But Mequinho, being clever, says, no, I don't want that. It's the same situation, okay? Mequinho played queen to b4. If queen takes d5, knight takes c3, and the queen is lost. After queen takes d8 knight to e2 check, king to h1 and rook to d8, you lose a piece. Mequinho didn't fall for that, okay? But the complexity of the game will only increase after this. Mequinho moved queen to b4 to escape the knight's attack. Shirov now plays knight takes c3, then queen takes c3, followed by bishop to f5. Development is essential, right? After developing the bishop, Mequinho moves the rook to the c-file to control it. Shirov plays queen to b6, improving its position and creating threats. Now, regarding the d4 square, the game continues with b3, a very important move by Mequinho, controlling those annoying knight jumps. Here, Shirov fights for the c-file. The queen is attacked, so queen moves to d2. The game continues with knight to c6, Shirov retreats. The knight increasing pressure on d4. Mequinho jumps in saying, you want chaos? Here you go. He played with the knight, moving it to e5 in this position, which now brings an attack to the pawn on d5 Shirov. Here he has 2 options. He could take the knight, but instead he chooses to play the knight to d5, defending the pawn. There are more options, but these are the most aggressive. Shirov is an aggressive player. But Raphael, what if he takes on e5? Then we end up in a forced, messy line, okay? Where? Will Mequinho have an advantage? Shirov didn't play this, but if he had played knight takes e5, then Mecking would play d takes e5. Attacks the queen with a discovered move. Queen takes d8 would be one of the best continuations. Queen takes d5, queen takes queen, bishop takes d5, bishop takes e5. Now the rook is under attack, bishop takes b7. That's probably the most complicated line, which Mecking would definitely play. Bishop takes a 1 rook recaptures, maintaining the double attack on the rooks. Rook date bishop takes a 8, rook takes a 8. And count the pawns on the board, Mecking here has won a pawn. So when Mequinho played knight e5, he clearly saw this line. And Shirov also saw this line and didn't go into this variation. After knight e5, Shirov defended the d5 pawn with knight f4. Yeah, It's a complex game, I warned you. The complexity only increases from here. After knight b4, the game continues here with g4. It's an interesting move by Mequinho. He wants to divert the bishop from defending here, from attacking the c2 square where Shirov was planning to put the knight at some point. So, g4 was played. The bishop retreats, as Armando would say, h3 defending the grob pawn, and a5. The game stays tense and wild after Mequinho's f4 and now f6. And here, get ready, because now things are about to get really crazy. Notice that Shirov attacked Mequinho's knight, but Mequinho is a player who fights for the initiative. And this game is a demonstration of the fight for initiative, which is always keeping the threat on your opponent. Shirov threatened Mequinho's knight, but Mequinho refused to move it. Raphael, what happened? Did Mequinho lose a piece? No, Mequinho attacked Shirov's knight. Now there's a knight under attack here and another there. Shirov asks, all right, want to fight for the initiative? I have a fight here too. Shirov doesn't defend his knight here. Again, what do you mean doesn't defend? There are two knights under threat. No, Shirov is the one who moves the rook to the 7th. Rook z2 attacking the queen. Shirov targets a more valuable piece. What kind of complexity is this? Well, in this position, as unbelievable as it may seem, Mequinho here, he didn't defend the queen, kept the queen, didn't defend the knight, and everything is under attack here. What did Mequinho do? Raphael fought for the initiative, playing knight to d7 to attack Shirov's queen. Look at the craziness happening here. Mecking's queen, Shirov's knight, and Mecking's knight are all under attack, plus a rook is also threatened. Everything is under attack in this position. Man, what a mess this game is, but everything's fine here. Knight to 17 is the strongest move here, and Mecking found it. All right, but let's try to understand what's happening here first. What happens after rook to the 7th? What would happen if Mecking simply took that rook? It leads to a complex line. If rook takes rook, the idea for black here would be at this moment to play knight takes knight. After knight takes on c2, after queen takes on c2, comes the capture on e5. And now the big theme that Shirov had thought of appears. If you capture with the pawn, you can't use the d-pawn or the bishop will be lost. So you would have to capture with the f-pawn, and now bishop takes on e5 would be Shirov's idea. And if you take the bishop, then queen takes on e3, the king moves out. Here, Mecking would lose some pawns in this line. So of course, everything is fine. Shirov's rook to c2 was a sharp, aggressive move, and Mecking's responses were all very precise. After knight to d7, everything became chaotic with many variations and a lot of mess. How did Shirov keep playing in this position? Well, Shirov decided to simplify this mess a bit here. After knight d7, Shirov played rook takes c1, and now Mequinho also plays rook takes c1, correct? A check is a check, and now the queen is threatened. How does the game proceed? Shirov played bishop takes d7, a knight is hanging, there's an exchange, then the knight on b4 is captured. Now it comes up here, and Mequinho's initiative continues. He kept up the attack on the d5 pawn, so Shirov plays e6, bringing a defense to the pawn. He takes on a5, captures on a5, and in this position, Mequinho plays f5. This suggests trying to break up Shirov's central pawns now. The complexity continues as a pawn falls on d3. Queen takes d3 was played. And notice, but here Shirov is giving up the rook. No, as I said, Shirov doesn't blunder pieces. Mequinho didn't take the rook, okay? There's a strong move for black here. If Mequinho had taken the rook, which he didn't, Shirov could have played here. With queen takes e3, notice that the king is in check. King to 2 would be a possibility. So, queen to f4, king returns to g1, and now queen captures c1 here. Shirov will win a piece, okay? The king is in check, so there's no chance to play queen d8 when the king moves. To win this bishop, Shirov can defend the bishop calmly, and it would be a very dangerous line for Mequinho. So when Shirov took queen takes b3, Mequinho realized he couldn't take the rook. So what did he do? He played rook to the 7th here, a very strong move, okay? Because it attacks the bishop and still threatens the rook, Shirov had considered this line right. He defends the rook by giving a check with the rook. The king moves to f2. Now what? Shirov aimed to attack the queen and use the rook. 2 attacks the queen. When she moves, Shirov easily defends his bishop and continues on the file. Complexity everywhere. But here in this position, Shirov didn't expect a crazy continuation from Mequinho. Totally surprising. After all that complexity, that position with so many pieces under attack, Mequinho still drops a bomb in this position. Queen takes a 2. He sacrificed the queen. Mequinho gives up the queen for a rook. Shirov can't refuse. Playing queen takes a 2. And now Mequinho takes the bishop on d7 here. And the big idea that Mequinho found here in this game is that he gave up the queen for a bishop and a rook. In the fight for initiative, he will keep attacking ideas against Shirov's position. How does this continue? Now the f5 pawn is captured as Mequinho plays g takes f5. The game continues with queen to d2 targeting this pawn. Capturing the e6 pawn opens a discovered attack on d5 in this position. The rook is on the 7th rank. It's a very, very dynamic position. The pawn is 2 squares away from promotion. Mequinho is winning this incredible position. That's chess. Shirov played queen f5 check. The king moved to g1. The game proceeds with bishop to f8. Bringing here the idea maybe of defending for now against the advance because, you can't advance because if you do, the rook will be lost. Shirov wants to defend. After the queen check, what happens next in this battle? Bishop takes d5 was played, and now Mequinho poses a strong threat. He's about to play e7 with a discovered check. Winning the whole bishop, promoting the pawn, anything can happen. So, at this moment, bishop e7 was played. Shirov is a fighter, a tactical player. Shirov's idea is that if Mequinho takes the bishop, then the bishop on d5 falls. And it simplifies white's bishops, which benefits black, right? Mequinho skips that line, retreats the bishop to g2, and maintains pressure on the e7 bishop. How does Shirov keep playing? Shirov is the one who has to defend that bishop. He played king to f8. This game is complex. Now Mequinho starts pushing his pawns forward. He's threatening to play d6 now and win black's entire bishop. The fight continues. Queen to e5 was played. Shirov's plan is simple. Stop the pawn advance to allow bishop takes d6. So Mequinho played king to f2. The game continues with an f5 played by Shirov, a bold move. They were running low on time on the clock. This was a classical game, a slow game, but time was getting a bit tight at this moment. A bomb was played here. Bishop h6. Mequinho played. The king is really exposed. You can't risk the king like that, or the bishop will be lost. So Shirov was forced to play king e8 here, and now Mequinho plays bishop f3. With the almost unstoppable idea of checkmate on h5, how do black play this position? Bishop h5 can't be defended. None of black's pieces protect that square, and if bishop h5 is played, it's checkmate. The king is trapped, nothing can be done. So now Shirov is facing a dilemma after all this complexity and chaos, and Shirov finds an interesting line. He plays here with queen h2. Now Mequinho must avoid the queen's checks. Shirov aims for a perpetual, continuous checks on Mequinho's king. Can Mequinho defend this? Here he played king e3. Shirov played queen g1, then king d3. The game goes queen b1 check, king to d4, kasmetas masayas, dash queen b2 check, king d3, queen b3 check, king d4. The game continues with queen 4, king d3, queen b3. Mequinho is caught in a web of checks here. He can't escape king d4, and after queen 2, yes. Shirov managed to force a draw in this game with a perpetual, because he can't stop the idea of bishop h5. Shirov pulled this line out of a hat. He forced this draw with Mequinho. Shirov came to Brazil to play the Floripa Open and forced a draw against Mequinho in this complex game, one of the most complex games. I believe I analyzed this on the channel. This game is tough to analyze. There were a lot of lines at that moment where all the pieces are under threat. A real mess. But everything went smoothly. There wasn't any major mistake. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was very well thought out, very precise. These guys play well. This match deserves respect. If you didn't know about this match, comment below what you thought of Mequinho playing chess against Shirov. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And see you in the next videos.